Bro, Drake just did something that nobody in hip hop has dared to do in years. He went at Jay-Z. Not once, not twice. Across multiple songs on 3 albums, he publicly told the world that Jay-Z's opinion is worthless, that his mentorship means nothing, and that the old guard of hip hop is finished. And now, sources say Jay-Z is furious. The man who does not move fast, the man who lets lawyers and time handle his battles, is reportedly not staying quiet on this one. Stay with me, because this is the most dangerous beef Drake has ever started. Before we get into the reaction, let's make sure you understand exactly why going at Jay-Z is different from every other diss on this album. Drake spent 3 albums hitting practically everyone: Rick Ross, A$AP Rocky, LeBron James, J. Cole, DJ Khaled, Kendrick Lamar. The list is enormous, but every single one of those targets is in a different category from Jay-Z. Because Jay-Z is not just a rapper, he is an institution. He is a billionaire. He is the CEO of Roc Nation, the company that selected Kendrick Lamar for the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. He is connected to every power structure in music, sports, and entertainment simultaneously. Going at Jay-Z publicly is not like going at Rick Ross. It is a different level of risk entirely, and Drake did it anyway. Across 3 songs, Janice STFU, Whisper My Name, and Make Them Pay, he built a case against Jay-Z that gets progressively more aggressive with every bar. And the reason he did it traces back directly to the Kendrick beef and what Jay-Z's silence and positioning meant to Drake during the worst period of his career. This is not a random diss. This is 2 years of grievances delivered in the most public way possible. Here is where it gets crazy. Let's go through the bars in order because the escalation is important. On Janice STFU, Drake opens with, "You boys got big on my name. That's big enough. We know how you OGs rockin' already, my nigga. The jig is up." According to Hot 97, that line is a direct critique of veteran artists who benefited from Drake's success while maintaining distance from public conflicts. Translation: you built on my back and then stayed quiet when I needed you. The jig is up is Drake saying he sees exactly what Jay-Z has been doing and he is done pretending otherwise. Then on Whisper My Name, he goes further. "I'll take $500,000, not the dinner. I never could learn shit from none of y'all." Now bro, that bar requires context because it references one of the most famous hypothetical debates in hip hop. Would you rather have dinner with Jay-Z or take $500,000 cash? For years, people would actually answer that question seriously, saying dinner with Jay-Z is worth more because of the business knowledge and wisdom you could gain. Drake took that debate and answered it directly on record. $500,000, no dinner. Jay-Z cannot teach me anything. That is Drake publicly saying Jay-Z's mentorship and wisdom are worthless to him. 5 years ago, that bar would have been considered career suicide.
So Drake just dropped the album of the decade and there's still a bunch of more disses to go over. Drake dissed Jay-Z on Whisper My Name. Playboi Carti also caught a couple of shots on this new Drake album, along with DJ Mustard, who definitely deserves some shots. But about Jay-Z, he said, "I'll take $500K, not the dinner. I could never learn shit from none of y'all." Drake dissed DJ Mustard over West Coast Radio production on Too Hard for the Radio, which is my personal favorite song on the album so far. He said, "Mustard heard about us. Gotta catch up to the slaps. You ain't had one since me and YG rapped. Facts, 900 million for the tracks. Rack City, bitch, we remember that. Yeah, you should go and get back to that." And as for Playboi Carti, and I can't live with these two goats beefing, but he said, "Baby boy, please. I heard what you said to Lil Bro about me. Yeah, and when you run into the Iceman, what you gonna do except freeze? You not about to squeeze, you not in the streets." So far, I've enjoyed Iceman a lot, but of course, Rim is shitting on it. Of course, Twitter is shitting on it. For the most part, I think that this is a pretty good album. I think that people need to calm down and give this more listens because there's a lot of material in this music and I'm enjoying it so far. Join that Discord. We're talking music, we're talking sports, we're talking whatever. Link in the bio. If you're not following, hit the follow button.
And then on Make Them Pay, he delivers the sharpest line of all 3. "You run and talk to Hov for a second opinion. Me, I stood 10 toes and accepted the mission. That is Drake drawing a direct contrast between himself and every rapper who seeks Jay-Z's approval before making a major move. He is saying the people who went to Jay-Z for guidance are the same people who folded when things got hard, and he stayed in the fight alone. Now here's the thing, Jay-Z has not responded publicly, and that is completely in character. Hov famously does not move fast. He does not tweet. He does not go live. He processes through lawyers, through business moves, and through music when the time is right. His silence right now is not the same as Khaled's silence or LeBron's silence. It is calculated patience from someone who has been in this game for 30 years and knows exactly how to respond without looking reactive. But sources close to his camp are not describing the silence as indifference. They are describing it as controlled fury. Because what Drake did was not just throw a couple of bars at Jay-Z. He attacked the very thing Jay-Z has built his post-rap legacy on, the idea that his wisdom and guidance are invaluable to younger artists. The dinner debate is a real thing that people have argued seriously, and Drake just put on record that he thinks it is worthless. The internet reacted immediately. Drake fans said it was the boldest move on the entire album. Jay-Z fans said Drake was overextending and that picking this fight was going to end badly. And one commentator pointed out the irony. Drake is simultaneously fighting the industry through his UMG lawsuit while going at the man whose Roc Nation company is one of the most powerful forces in that same industry. Wait for it, because here is the detail that nobody is talking about enough. The Jay-Z diss is not just personal, it is connected to the Kendrick beef in a very specific way that Drake made explicit on the album. Jay-Z's Roc Nation selected Kendrick Lamar for the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. That decision gave Kendrick the biggest stage in American entertainment to perform Not Like Us in front of 100 million people watching live. That halftime show was the moment the Kendrick victory became permanent cultural record, and Jay-Z's company put him there. Drake is saying on this album that he sees the full picture, that the Kendrick beef was not just Kendrick versus Drake, it was a broader industry realignment with Jay-Z's fingerprints on it. The line about running to Hov for a second opinion is Drake saying that the people who moved against him were coordinated, that Jay-Z was the elder statesman whose quiet approval gave everyone else permission to switch sides. Whether that read is accurate or paranoid is a debate, but Drake put it on 3 albums, and now Jay-Z has to decide whether to let that narrative sit or respond and give it even more oxygen. And here is where it gets crazy. Before the album dropped, Jay-Z gave an interview where he said, "If you are trying to make young music and you are not young, it is not going to feel authentic and people can feel that." The internet immediately read that as a direct sneak diss at Drake, who is turning 40. Drake's dinner bar on Whisper My Name is his direct answer to that interview. "You tried to sneak diss me before my album even came out. Here is my response, on record, permanently." So where does this leave us? Drake went at Jay-Z across 3 songs on 3 albums. He questioned his influence, dismissed his mentorship, and publicly connected him to the industry coordination that Drake believes cost him the Kendrick beef. Jay-Z gave a sneak diss interview before the album dropped, and Drake answered it in the music. And now sources say Jay-Z is furious, but calculating his response carefully.
Iceman Drake is going to snatch Jay-Z's record for a rapper with the most #1 albums. So that means his Billboard 200 record has been snatched by Drake, and his Billboard 100 record was snatched by Nicki Minaj. The only rappers to top global Spotify this year have been Drake and Nicki Minaj. And honestly, I thought I would get on here and be like, "See, I told you," and start running down the numbers and the stats, but all that stuff is here today and gone tomorrow. But it's clear as day that the House of Young Money still lives another day. And Drake blessed us with not only 1 album, but 3 albums. I'm gonna be honest, Maid of Honor, I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that. Habibi is a cool record, but that Iceman, that is some good quality music. He's going to break the records and all the stats is going to be there, but honestly, just as a fan, I am super happy. Like, I don't even want to argue with none of y'all, because arguing with y'all is going to take away my time from listening to the music.
No cap, this is the most consequential diss on the entire Iceman project. not because of the personal heat between them, but because of what a Jay-Z response would mean for the culture. If Jay-Z picks up the pen on this one, it becomes a generational battle. The architect of modern hip-hop versus the man who dominated it for a decade. And unlike the Kendrick beef, which was already brewing for years, this one was started entirely by Drake choosing to go at someone he never had to touch. The question now is whether Jay-Z decides Drake is worth the energy. Because if he does respond, the response is not going to be a live in 4 words. It is going to be a fully constructed, legally cleared, precisely delivered dismantling. That is how Jay-Z operates, and Drake just gave him every reason to do exactly that. The summer of 2026 has barely started, and Drake just opened the most dangerous front of all. Subscribe right now, because if Jay-Z responds, we are covering it the second it drops, and you do not want to be the last person to find out.